Alright, so today what we're going to look at is we're going to look at some word problems. Now, there's probably 4 or 5 different types of word problems that you're going to see on your work today. We're going to go through them. I'm going to give you an example of each one and what it should look like and how to set it up. Okay, so make sure that when you read these, you read them carefully, because sometimes you're going to set it up incorrectly if you're not careful. So we're just going to get into it. We're going to read the problem, we're going to set it up, then we're going to solve it. All right, so Hall weighs 190 pounds and plans on losing 2 pounds per month. Pat weighs 211 pounds and plans on losing 6 pounds per month. In how many months will Pat weigh the same as Hall, round to the nearest month? All right, so first thing we have is we have this first part up here. Hall weighs 190 pounds and plans on losing 2 pounds per month. First thing you need to recognize is this is where he starts and he's losing 2 pounds per month. Okay, and we want to know how many months will they be the same. So let's set up an expression just for this. We have 190, and you could say minus 2 pounds, and that per month is multiplied. 2 times the number of months, okay? So M is what it should be, 190 minus 2M. You could also do plus a negative 2M. We're going to do that whenever once we set it up and start solving it. But that's what this is actually saying. We start here and we're going to lose this per month. That's what it's telling me. Okay? Pat weighs 211 pounds and plans on losing, again, there's that losing 6 pounds per month. So where do we start? 211 minus, because we're losing 6 pounds per month, 6M. Okay? In order for you to be able to do problems like this, the first thing you have to do is you have to be able to set these two things up. Okay? So you got to pay attention to the words that they're using, notice the sequence and the types of words like losing, what's going on there. Okay? So now what they said is, in how many months will Pat weigh the same as Hall? Okay, so when will these two things be the same, is what they're asking here. So if we're doing that, we can set this up as an equation. 190 minus 2M equals 211 minus 6M. And notice it says round to the nearest month. All that means is round to the nearest whole number. That's what that's telling me, round to the nearest whole number. All right, so now from here, we have an equation. We have variables on both sides, so we want to move the variables and get them together, and then just solve for that variable. So draw our line. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come through here and I'm going to change all my subtraction to addition, just to make it a little bit easier for me. So click, 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 click. Now I'm going to move this to this side because this number is bigger than that number, and when I move it, it's going to leave me with a positive number. It just doesn't, it's a little trick to get rid of some of these sign rules issues that we have. Okay, so add its inverse, plus 6M, plus 6M, okay, and then I'm going to bring down everything. These two things cancel out. I bring down to 11, I have 190 plus negative plus a positive. You subtract, keep the sign of the bigger number. Plus 4M. Now I'm going to move this to this side, plus its inverse, plus its opposite. I may run out of room here. Okay, this cancels out, and all I have is 4M. And does that leave me 21? 21. Okay, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Okay, and now I'm going to divide by that 4. Divide by 4. Divide by 4. This cancels out. That leaves me with M, and I'm going to come over here just because I ran out of room down here, so I'm going to come over here. M equals, and I've got 21 divided by 4 That's 5 1/4 or 5.25, 5 1/4. So 5, M equals 5, and it's 5 because I rounded to the nearest month. Okay, so I only had a remainder of 1, so I know it's going to be closer to 5. M equals 5. So in 5 months, they're going to be the same weight, or yeah. That's how many months it'll take them to get to the same spot. Okay, so M equals 5, and there's my answer. Okay, guys, it's really straightforward once you get these two things. Once you have these two things, you set them equal to and you solve. And then watch where they're telling you to round. That's all it is to this, okay? All right, there's a little bit to this one. You have to have a little bit of foreknowledge, okay? So perimeter and area of a rectangle are equal. The width is 6 units. What is the length round to the nearest 10? Get out those formula sheets I gave you, okay? Perimeter of a rectangle and area of a rectangle are equal. Well, the formula for perimeter, 2L plus 2W, okay? That's perimeter, right? 2L plus 2W, just add up all the sides, right? Okay? And area of a rectangle, length times width, are equal. They're the same, they're equal. Okay? And then what do they tell us? The width is 6 units. So W equals 6. So we're going to take this 6 and substitute it in for wherever there's a W to find out what the length is. So 2L plus 2 times 6 equals length times 6. Okay, so we're going to go in here and we're going to simplify what we can simplify. So we have 2L plus 12 equals L times 6, which is 6L. All right, now solve for L. Well, this is all by itself over here, so we're going to move this over here. So plus the inverse here, plus the inverse here. These two things cancel out and leave me with just 12 here. Equals 6 plus -2 gets me 4L. Divide by 4, divide by 4, L equals 3. And there's my answer. I didn't have to round or anything. But if we needed to, we would have. Okay? But pretty straightforward. You had to know this though. You had to know the equations. Okay? You had to recognize perimeter. Oh, that's a formula. Go get it. Area. That's a formula. Go get it. Okay? You know what they are. Just go get them. Put them equal to each other. Not a hard problem if you know the formulas. All right. Now this one. This is the candle question. They like this question, so be ready for it. A candle that is 12 inches tall burns 1/3 in every hour. A 14-inch candle burns 2/3 in every hour. After how many hours will they be the same height round to the nearest hour? Now this is very similar to that first question that we just did. Okay, let's set it up. This first one, a candle that is 12 inches tall burns 1/3. So it's 12 inches tall and it burns 1/3. Well, when you burn something, you're taking away. So minus 1/3 in every hour. So I'm going to use H. That's hours. Okay? A 14-inch candle burns 2/3. So 14 minus 2/3 2/3. 14-inch candle burns 2/3 inch every hour. 12-inch tall burns 1/3 inch every hour. After how many hours will they be the same height? Yeah, we're good. Okay, round to the nearest 10. Okay, 12 minus 1/3 H, 14 minus 2/3 H. So we're going to set these two things equal to find out when they're the same. Now, on my previous video, you saw how to clear a fraction. So here, we're going to clear these fractions to make this just a little bit easier for us to deal with. Now, what we have to do is we have to have the common denominator, but we know what it is here because they're the same. They made it easy on us. All right, so we're going to multiply here by 3 and here by 3. Now what you do to one side, you got to do to the other. So we got to keep it balanced here. So we're going to take and we're going to distribute 3 through this part. 3 times 12, 36, minus 3 times 1/3. They're going to cancel out and get me 1h. Okay? Equals, and then I'm going to do the same thing through here. And I'm going to distribute this through. 3 times 14, 12, 2, I lost it just a second ago. 12, 2, K, 1, 3, 4, 42. Okay, so we got 42 minus, and because these two things cross out, I have 2h left. And that's the whole point. Now from here, we can solve this. This makes it a lot easier. All right, draw our line. I'm going to add 2h to both sides. These cancel out, and if you wanted to, you could have done click right there just to make it look a little bit easier. Okay, now line, these cancel out. I have 36 plus 1h equals 42. So far so good. Now plus negative 36 plus negative 36. These cancel out. I have 1h equals 6. So 1 times h is h equals 6. So in 6 hours, these two will have burned down to the same level. That's all that's saying. 6 hours, they'll be the same. The hardest part about this, okay, is one, setting it up, but then clearing out that fraction. That's probably the hardest part, okay? Setting it up, then clearing out the fraction. But we can do this. This is a problem that you're going to see. I'm confident you're going to see this again, okay? If not this year, next year. All right. Two angles have measurements of 5x plus 20 and 3x plus 24. Find the value of x if the angles are congruent, round to the nearest hundredth. All right, so now we have congruent. Guys, that just means that these two things are the same. Find the value of x if these two things are equal, if they're the same. Okay, so 5x plus 20 equals 3x plus 24. Set them up equal to each other. All right, draw the line, add the inverse. These cancel out. This gets you 2x plus 20 equals 24, and I'm just bringing that down. Okay, add the inverse. These cancel out. You have 2x equals 4, divide by 2, divide by 2, x equals 2. This one is not hard. Okay, this one is not hard. This is just setting these two things equal. The only thing that they're trying to mess with you on is that they're using congruent in there to see if you know what that means. That's all it is. Okay, then solve the equation. Make sure that if you have to round, you round in the correct way. We didn't have to on any of these. They kind of came out very nicely, and that wasn't planned. It just happened. So if you have any questions, you need some help, let me know.